We've got a lot of new features. This video is called Tree Bar's New Look for a good reason. Here is a huge, big change. Now, I purposely have some long little note things here. This used to stretch across here, and some long places. This used to stretch across here, and this whole app used to stretch all the way across here. This table used to be too big, is what I'm trying to say. And I made a huge change. You used to tab through here. You still can tab through here, no problem. But you used to be able to just literally change it and keep going. And I decided, well, that's going to have to get a little bit harder, because in order to do that, I had to use entries. And that's called a T-Kinter entry, where you can type into it. Well, these are labels. You can't type into them. But it enables me to have two lines here. I could have used the so-called T-Kinter text widget, but this is a tour video, so I don't want to get too technical. I decided to use a label. So now when you tab in here, you can hit the space bar, and that'll open an edit tab. But it works. Okay, see, and it's in two lines. That's what I was trying to get across to you. I'm just a genealogist writing software. I'm not a programmer trying to do genealogy. We have changed a lot of things. If you watch the other movies, the other tours, I didn't make any changes up here in the families area. You still double click to change the person. Over here, there used to be a gallery here for places. This is now a button to open a gallery in a dialogue. So all the galleries are now in dialogue. So this one has just a button. This one has two. See, you can pan through this. See, you can display either one. The one that's selected is going to be the main image, the one that shows up here on this button. That's this one. Okay. So if you had a whole bunch of them, you could click the radio button for which one that you wanted to have as your button here on your sources tab. When you pan here, it's not going to hurt your hand because you barely move the mouse, and it moves very far. See, I'm barely moving the mouse. I can see this whole thing without having to move the mouse too far. I don't know about your hand, but my hand doesn't get along with the mouse that very, very well. Chapter 1 of Tree Bar development took 50 months, 50, full-time work. You know, the reason I went to all this trouble of originally having these long things stretching across here, number one, in Tree Bar, you can set the font size easily to any size you want. I mean, it gets ugly after a while, you know, if you change it too small or too big, but if you need it, you need it, right? If you gotta look at tiny little letters, and fine, go ahead. It gets pretty long here, especially if you got nice big letters that are easy to read. These columns get too wide. So you're saying to yourself, well, yeah, but everybody else uses resizable columns. Okay, well, all right. So you open up Geneaware, you got a big table or a little table, and it seems like in all Geneaware, or most Geneaware, is guilty of this. You got resizable columns, and yes, I said guilty. Okay, guilty. I meant it too. Resizable columns are for where they're absolutely needed, because they're a pain in the behind. All right. You want to open this up, you want to be able to read every single word on this table. Let me hear an amen. All right, you don't want to go up here and try to get that double arrow thing. Oh, I clicked, but it was in the wrong place. I got to try again. Meanwhile, your hand is aching because you're 150 years old and you've been using the mouse ever since the dark ages of the personal computer, and your mouse hand hurts, and you'd rather not diddle around with resizable columns. They're a pain in the butt. They're horrible. You change this column, and then you can't read this column. You change that column, and then you can't read that column. Anyway, I've ranted about this many times, and I will continue to rant about it, and I'm not going to change my mind. I would rather have a nice long three layers of words here than to have resizable columns. We did the assertions. Let's open a different tree. Here's what I meant by assertions. Now, if you click this, it says click any sources button to display assertions here. What are assertions? An assertion is a claim or an assertion made by a source. A source says stuff about our people, places, and events. In genealogy, source is very important. You know that. Without sources, we'd have no genealogy. But a lot of people make trees without mentioning any sources, as you know. Well, one reason for this is that the existing GenieWare, that is genealogy software, makes it very tedious to accomplish the recording of sources and citations. TreeBard's goal is to make genealogy fun, including sourcing. We want it to still be fun. An assertion is what the source says about an element of genealogy, such as an event or an attribute, both of which go here, or a name. I need to add assertions here. This is the conclusions table. This is what you say about an event. Okay? This is what you say about the guy's names. Well, I live in the Philippines. There, almost everybody has more than one name here. This is like a summary. This is what you say based on the sources that you've seen. This is what you've decided to put down, for now at least. You can change it. This is what you say. Conclusion is the user, the genealogist says this about this person. But what does the source say? Well, okay, all right, what are my sources? Date, place, particulars, age, and roles are conclusions. There are 12 sources, that is, there's 12 assertions about this row of conclusions. The ones with asterisk have content. See, there's nothing there, so you don't have to click it. These are the 12 assertions that are mentioned right here. I click this, and then I go to here. You can make new assertions, new sources, citations right here, but these are the ones that are already there, that are already linked to the conclusions in that row. You can add notes. So let's take a quick peek. Oh, here's a lot of them here. What's this? This is about dates, or it's all about the same date. Here's what I'm trying to say. Okay, this is all about the same date, August 2, 1936. That's just a citation from the source. Okay, so this source happens to be saying all this different stuff. And I just decided to use, as my assertion, I decided to use exact quotes. You don't have to, but this is what you fill in, or you edit. You can edit this here. You fill it in originally over here, add source. You fill it in originally here. Okay, assertions. And then you can edit it here. All right. Now, what I'm trying to say is, this is the date. So those assertions are all about this conclusion. Okay, this is my conclusion. The user, the genealogist, makes this conclusion based on these date assertions. Okay, so that should kind of tell you what's going on a little bit. Now, if I want to unlink this, which I'm not going to do because it'll mess up my tree, I can just click that, see? And then when I go save changes, then this one will no longer appear next time I go over here and refresh by clicking here. It's not complicated. Oh, look, here's one with an actual note in it. So here's your note about this assertion. In the Charles D. Gregory family tree, unlike the sample tree, which I showed you first, I'm actually trying to do a real family tree based on real sources. This is a summary. It's like you want to see the guy's life story all on one page. This is it. This is where you do that. And then you want the details. Oh, what did I base this on? What was I thinking when I said that this invention took place in Brownfield, Texas? Well, let's go find out, okay? Places. Oh, he visited Amarillo. Okay. Oh, so that's where I got that information. So this is from a newspaper article, Amarillo News and Globe. Oh, so if I want to go look at the original, I can go find that. And it'll be over here in the sources, which, not yet, but someday when I get to that. So, source, citation, notes, you can say, oh, I disagree, I doubt that very much. Or you can say, yeah, well, obviously, these are the repositories. Or you can add another repository for the same thing. Newspaper archive is the repository, and this is the locator within repository. You can add a new repository for the same citation. Okay, one citation per assertion. Okay, one source per assertion. That's why over here you say source, there's 12 sources, there's also 12 assertions. You got 12 assertions, you got 12 sources. What's all this? Couple event, oh my, I forgot about this. Add event type if not in above list. Oh, this is a feature for making a new event type, and you get to say, is it a couple event? Is it a marital event? Does it happen after somebody dies? Bye.